Okay, so here we have today's eBay purchase. Well, not today, but you know what I mean. Today's eBay delivery. I like it. So these are Wake handlebars that I got for $11.99 off of eBay. They're 780mm wide. And at first glance, at least, they look like a decent set of handlebars for 31.8mm stem clamp size, which is pretty much the industry standard these days. It's got some nice blue sort of anodizing on it, and some skulls, and of course it's called Wake, which is something you have at the end of a funeral, hence the skulls, or at least I believe that's why they're on there. It's got some here, so if you have a stem with like a hole in it, you can see that logo and the skull effect through the hole of the stem, if you have one of those stems. The actual Wake stem, funnily enough, doesn't have the hole. As far as I'm aware, they don't do one with the hole. Maybe the other downhill one does. I can't remember off the top of my head. Anyway, so they've got some silk screen that says Wake on it, blue anodizing, more white silk screen up here. Flip it over, it's just blue, silk screen at the ends. And has these easy to install spacers here. Well, no, it doesn't really. Not really a proper. It gives you bar roll indication. It doesn't give you left and right indication. Anyway, now these bars are not the best bars in the world. I'm totally honest. I've already looked down here. This end, not so bad. You can't really see anything untoward going on. This end. Now I don't know if this is going to show on camera. I have to get the microscope out. You can just see it. Just the bottom of the circle. It's not quite round, and inside there's some deep scoring. Now, this deep scoring could potentially cause points for metal fatigue and cracks to precipitate from. So you could get cracks starting internally, and you wouldn't even know. So it really depends on what you're doing, if it's worth buying these. If it's just for regular riding on the street, they might be okay. But if you're doing wheelies and riding down steps or any off-road, I wouldn't really trust them. Also, there's a bulge here, like it's not been formed perfectly. You can just feel that, which is a shame because they look really, really nice. And yeah, you can get cheap handlebars from like Halfords and whatever else, and Decathlon do some, but they're not coloured. They're just plain black colour, so it's a bit of a shame. Those bars are pretty cheap as well, but they're better in terms of the actual manufacturing quality. They do comply to standards and things like that. So they've been tested, whereas these most certainly haven't. I have heard stories of these snapping. We'll take a microscope down the ends and have a look later to see what they look like internally. But it certainly isn't boding well, and it's not guaranteed they're all going to be the same. See if I can see that by eye on that. This end seems fine. Well, no, it doesn't. There's still some hexagonal effects. You can just sort of see that in there. I can just see it on the LCD of the camera. Right at the bottom there's like grooves. They show up as grooves on the camera. And they're like not even, and they feel sharp if you stick your fingers inside of it. Not that I'm going to recommend anyone does this, just in case you cut yourself. You can actually feel it. It looks like a 50p piece if you look at it from the end view, by eye, not so much on the camera. It just shows as a groove. And you can really feel the 50p piece effect inside, like it's a round hole but on the outside, but it's not round on the inside. It's like hexagonal on part of it, but not all the way. So it's like it's caught on the die as it's being forced through. These are generally extruded aluminium, so it's pushed through a die, and something has obviously gone wrong. It's snagged, it's scored the hell out of the inside of it as it's been pushed through. There is a few marks on the outside as well, if I try and find them. There's one there, it's not very obvious on camera. There's one there. Yeah, I can't really recommend them based on that. I'm going to put them on a bike anyway and run it at my own risk, but I do not advise you do the same. That concludes this video. See you later.